mysterious circumstances surrounding the sudden death of actor Gary Coleman. Did the child star's ex-wife pull the plug too soon? She says he wouldn't have made it anyway. You'll hear her shocking 911 call moments after his accident. Plus, day 46, the disastrous oil spill in the Gulf. The leak is still not completely capped. New reports that the oil could make its way all the way up the East Coast. And now outrage over what's happening to the animals in the Gulf and what you can do to change things. Issues starts now. Fast-breaking developments tonight. Joran van der Sloot claims, "I'm innocent." Chilean police say Joran is vehemently denying that he savagely murdered a 21-year-old Peruvian woman. Van der Sloot was captured in Chile yesterday after a massive two-day manhunt. He was put on a plane this morning and extradited to Peru. Tonight, brand new stunning details about the hell that occurred inside that hotel room. Authorities say the victim, Stephanie Flores Ramirez, was fully clothed and not sexually assaulted or raped. Joran allegedly took this young woman into room 309 and left 4 hours later alone, carrying 2 large suitcases. Stephanie's body was discovered battered, bludgeoned, and sad. She was face down and wrapped in a blood-soaked blanket. Authorities say her killer snapped her neck with his bare hands. She was so badly beaten, her family says she was missing an eyeball. The hotel room was registered in Joran van der Sloot's name. So what was the motive here? Could it have been robbery? Joran met his alleged victim at a Lima casino. Police say he stole $5,000 out of Stephanie's gambling winnings before fleeing. Joran has been arrested for murder and is also being charged in the U.S. for extortion. He allegedly offered to tell some mystery person where missing Alabama teen Natalie Holloway's body is in exchange for $250,000. Joran's arrest comes exactly 5 years after the blonde beauty went missing from a high school trip to Aruba. Tonight, Natalie's family speaks out right here on Issues. Will Joran's stunning arrest rip Natalie's case wide open again? We can only hope. Straight out to my fantastic expert panel, all of these people, experts in this case. But I want to begin with a very special guest, Natalie Holloway's uncle, Paul Reynolds, who joins me by phone. Paul, thank you so much for coming on Issues. Our hearts always go out to you and your family. The New York Post says it all, and I want to show our viewers the headline. Got him! That's what it says today. So many people have expressed delight over Joran's capture, but I think everybody wants to know, what is the reaction in your family in particular?
Well, our first reaction is that we are quite distraught over what has happened to Stephanie and her family. This is a terrible thing that they're having to endure, and we certainly know what it's like, and we'd like to extend our deepest sympathy to her family. You know,
go ahead.
Right? You know, the fact that Joran has continued his behavior and taken the life of another young girl is just it's very disturbing to us.
Well, Paul, this is so upsetting because we're getting some horrific new details about the savage murder of this young woman. Stephanie, the victim's brother, was on HLN's Nancy Grace last night. Now, it's hard to hear him clearly, but if you listen closely, he says his sister was missing an eyeball and was unrecognizable. Listen to this.
My brother is the only one that saw her because we decided that one of us first is going to see her and see how was she. But he told us that she didn't even have an eye. She was unrecognizable.
Paul, this is a difficult question because it just invites us to ponder the unimaginable. But when you hear something like that, does that provoke your worst fear that Natalie might have gone through something similar?
You know, we've been aware of Joran's temper for quite some time. You know, the first night that Natalie was missing, Beth arrived in Aruba and confronted Joran, and he was very cocky. He was had no remorse. A very unusual person, very unusual for a 17-year-old boy to be so defiant. The things that we had heard about his temper in the recent days following that led us to believe that he was a very violent person. If he didn't get what he wanted, he became very violent.
I mean, I guess we all thought maybe she had died accidentally or as a result of some kind of drug he slipped her, but the idea of a knifing and a neck snapping and a brutal beating, it's just something I don't think a lot of people have pondered before. Does it turn your stomach?
It does. I mean, everything he does is despicable, from trying to take advantage or extort money based on things that he's done, on terrible things that he's done. The repeated lies he's told everyone regarding the circumstances, the repeated confessions. Is an unbelievable individual.
I have to ask you about this whole extortion issue. And of course, Urine is accused of trying to sell information about Natalee Holloway's death and the location of her body. And I just want to ask you about that. A lot of people have wondered who might be willing to pay $250,000 to learn that, and there's been some speculation that perhaps a desperate member of your family was willing to plunk down that kind of money. What are your thoughts?
I don't have any details on that, but the fact that he would try to scam someone in my family in order to take advantage of them and try to gain money in that respect is just, it's despicable is the best word I can think of.
Well, I'm sure that there has got to be some feeling of happiness that he's behind bars. I mean, that's got to be some measure of comfort to your family.
We are glad he's behind bars. We don't want him to hurt anyone else. We don't want him to take any other young girl's life. He needs to be behind bars. He should have been behind bars. And, you know, I hope he's behind bars for a very, very long time. I think he needs time to think about what he's done.
I want to thank you, Paul Reynolds, uncle of Natalee Holloway. Again, our heart's always with you and your family, and our best wishes to Beth.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. We're going to turn now to Rafael Romo, senior Latin American affairs editor for CNN. He is on the scene in Peru. Rafael, bring us up to date. What is the very latest as you are there in Peru?
Exactly. Well, the very latest is that we're getting closer and closer to the actual transfer of the suspect from Chilean authorities to Peruvian authorities. And as soon as that happens here in Lima, Peruvian officials say that he will be charged with the murder of 21-year-old Stephanie Flores. They say they have a very strong case, including evidence, video evidence, and also the testimony of employees both at the casino where they were last seen and also at the hotel room where she was found dead. So it's just a matter of time, say Peruvian officials, before formal charges are brought against the suspect, Jane.
What kind of attention is this case generating in Peru? I understand thousands of people attended Stephanie's funeral. Tell us about it.
That's right, thousands and thousands of people. This is a very prominent family. Her father was a vice presidential candidate in 2001, very prominent businessman. Also, she was in college. She was getting a business administration degree, had many, many friends. In fact, Saturday, the last time that she was seen alive, she was going out with some female friends, just a girls' night out to have some fun, like any girl her age would do. And so, as you can imagine, many of these people are just beyond belief that something like this could have happened to Stephanie.
Rafael, what are Peruvian prisons like? Everybody wants to know how bad it's going to be for Urine if he's convicted.
Well, they're not very accommodating, to say the least. The facilities are not the greatest. The density of the prison population is very heavy, and for example, if you have to go to the bathroom, you're not going to find a toilet. It's just going to be a hole. And the other aspect is that it's going to be interesting if he is indeed guilty and actually ends up going to prison, what other Peruvians who are serving time for other crimes are going to think about this crime and what kind of treatment he's going to receive if he indeed is convicted of this crime, Jane.
In other words, he might either have to be in solitary or he could be in big trouble in the general population. Some might say couldn't happen to a nicer guy. All right, stay right where you are. We are on top of this fast-breaking story. Our expert panel about to weigh in. Plus, the ex-wife of Gary Coleman breaks her silence tonight. We're going to hear from the woman who decided to pull the plug on the child star.
9 iron, it's almost tea time.